name is Rachel, and welcome to America Reads Fun Learning Activities. Our activities are focused on topics such as science, health, history, and even arts. Let's look at some vocabulary words together to guess what we are going to learn about today. Our first vocabulary word is independence, which means to survive alone or to live alone. This term also applies to countries, where an independent country is one that is no longer part of a different country. They are on their own. Our next vocabulary word is celebration. And celebration is to do something special or fun for some sort of event, such as a birthday, a holiday, or some other occasion. Our next vocabulary word is holiday. Holiday is when most people will take the day off of work in order to honor or do something special for that day. Our next vocabulary word is continent, which is a large area of land. There are 7 continents on Earth. Can you name them? That's right! Let's look at a globe together to find the 7 continents. We have a globe. And so let's find the continents on this globe. So first off, we have Africa, which is this here. And then if we go right above Africa, we can see Europe over here. Next to Europe, we have the continent of Asia. And then, if we go way, way across the Pacific Ocean, we are at North America. And then south of North America is South America. And then we have, on the very, very south, Antarctica. And lastly, we have Australia. Great job finding those continents. And now we have one last vocabulary word, which is diversity, which could be a collection of things or animals or people that are different in some way. Now, did you guess what we are going to learn about today? That's right! We are going to learn about Independence Days around the world. Now, what is an Independence Day? It's a day when a country celebrates its birth, or the first day that that country was in existence. For example, for America or the United States, we have July 4th, which celebrates when the 13 colonies separated from the British ruling of King George III. Now, other countries have their own Independence Days that are on different days of the year. For example, we have India's Independence Day, which is on August 15th. We have Canada's Independence Day, which is on July 1st. And we have Mexico's Independence Day, which is on September 16th. Now, today we have Bianca and Marissa to help us with today's learning. Let's travel to Bianca to see her wonderful and amazing activity.
Hi everyone, my name is Bianca, and for today's activity, we are going to be creating flags from around the world. For our activity, we will be needing a couple of different materials, so let me go ahead and show you what we will be using. So first, you will need a pair of scissors. For the scissors, if you have trouble with them, make sure that you ask for help. Something to write with, I'm just going to be using a pencil. I will be using these little clips today, but these are not necessary. I will show you another way to do it without using these if you do not have them. Something to color with, I will be using crayons, but you can feel free to use color pencils, markers, or paint. Paper, and you will only be needing 1 sheet. And lastly, some string. I will be using some from this yarn, but feel free to use any type of string that you have available. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's start with learning about the United States and how they got their independence. So, did you know that the United States was first inhabited by Native Americans who lived here long before the European settlers came in? And it wasn't until the 16th century that European settlers came over to the United States and created the 13 colonies. Now, life was okay in the 13 colonies under Great Britain's rule, but eventually they ended up getting a little bit mad at Great Britain because they were being taxed way too much and they felt as if they were being misrepresented. This led to many battles, which will be known as the American Revolution. Now, the United States ended up defeating Great Britain and earning their independence, and that is why on July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed and adopted by all the states, and it stated that the United States was finally freed from Great Britain's rule and that they were their own country. And now that we know a little bit about how the United States got their freedom, let's go ahead and create that flag. First, we need to grab our sheet of paper, and as you can see, I have already folded it. But what you want to do is you're going to also fold it hamburger style, like so. And then you're gonna fold it one more time. And just make sure that you crease it so we can see those lines. And you should have 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we are going to take our scissors and we are going to cut those 4 squares. So just go ahead and follow the line. All right, so you should have your 4 different squares. So right now we are only gonna use 1, and then for the rest of the 3 that are left, we're gonna save those for later. Okay, so now that we have our 1 rectangle ready, we're gonna go ahead and look at that flag a little bit closer. So as you can see, there are 13 lines which symbolize the 13 colonies. And then we have this blue corner over here that has about 50 stars, and those 50 stars represent the 50 states. So we are going to do the exact same thing on our piece of paper. Now, I have already made little markers for the lines, and what I'm going to first do is I'm going to draw a square on the left side corner. And it's okay if this is not perfect. Just try your best. Now, I am going to draw 13 lines. All right, so we should have 13 spaces, and I'll go ahead and fix the ones where they're a little bit wonky. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fix this one just to make it a little bit more straight. And remember, it does not have to be perfect. All right, so now we are going to have to draw our stars. So now there are a lot of stars, there's 50 of them. So just try your best and draw as many stars as you can. And keep in mind, it's okay if your stars are not perfect. So for this flag, not all of them are going to fit, and that is okay as long as it looks similar. All right, so there we go. So now we have our flag. So it's starting to look pretty alike. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab your crayons. And now we're just gonna go ahead and color. So I am going to grab my red crayon, my blue crayon, and those are the only 2 that I'm going to use. So I'm going to start with red at the top. And this one looks a little bit pink. So I am going to grab another red just to make it more similar to the flag, and I'm going to go over that. There you go, that's a better color. So just go ahead and have fun while you color this. Alright, so I finished my red stripes. And I'm going to go ahead and grab our blue, and I'm going to fill in this corner square right here. There we go. And just like that, you should have your own United States flag. Now, let's learn a little bit about India and how they got their independence. So, kind of like the United States, they were under Great Britain's rule for about 200 years, which is a really, really long time. And throughout these 200 years, there was lots of disagreements and rebellions that took place because Great Britain was not respecting India's beliefs or culture. This eventually led to India no longer buying British goods, they stopped paying British taxes, and they eventually started peacefully protesting to get society's attention. Now, while all this was taking place, so was World War II, and Britain was in a little bit of trouble. They needed some help, so they asked India to help them out, and India said yes, as long as they would be freed afterwards. Great Britain agreed, and finally, on August 15, 1947, India was its own nation. So now that we know a little bit about India's independence and how they got it, let's go ahead and make that flag. In order to make the India flag, let's see how it first looks like. So this is a picture of the India flag, and as you can see, it has this blue symbol in the middle, which is called the Dharma chakra, which symbolizes life and movement. Then it has kind of like a saffron red-orange color at the top, white, and like a dark emerald green. So we're gonna try to recreate this as closely as possible. Alright, so first I am going to draw a circle in the middle. And then I'm gonna draw a smaller circle. And now, once you get to this part, you wanna take a closer look at this flag. And as you can see, it has lines coming out from the inner circle. So we are going to do just that. It's okay if it doesn't look the exact same, just try your very best. Okay? And so after we get that drawn, let's go ahead and draw those two lines in the middle. So we'll have 1, 2. And then that should give you 3 different sections. So first we're gonna start off by coloring the top. I chose this color, which is kind of like a red-orange. And you're just gonna fill that in. Alright, perfect. Now for the middle part, I am going to grab this blue-green color, and I am going to try to recreate the wheel as close as possible. So I'm gonna try to make the outer circle kind of thick, and then fill in the inner circle and then recreate those lines, and make sure to make them kind of thick because that's how they are on the flag. You don't want them to be too skinny. All right, there you go. And then our last color is kind of like a dark green. I did not have a crayon in this color, so I will be using a color pencil. So on the flag, the colors are a little bit different. And unfortunately, I did not have those same exact colors, so I'm just picking the ones that resemble those colors as close as possible. But if you do have those colors, that is awesome. And just like that, we have our India flag. So let's talk about how Canada got their independence. So Canada at first was under the control of the French and the British during the 15th century. This eventually led to conflict between the two groups, and this started the 7 Years' War, where the French were defeated and Britain took complete control in 1763. And finally, on July 1st, 1867, Canada was finally given the right to self-govern, and they became their own independent nation. Now, while they are still their own independent nation, they are still a part of the Commonwealth, which is the British monarchy, and they still fully support the Queen. So now that we know a little bit about how Canada got their independence, let's go ahead and create their flag. All right, so in order to make the Canada flag, let's take a closer look at how it looks like. So here we have the Canadian flag, and as you can see, it is red and white, and it has a maple leaf right in the center. Now this maple leaf symbolizes cultural heritage and the natural resources of Canada. So let's go ahead and try to recreate this as best as possible. So first, I'm going to do my very best to draw a maple leaf. It does not have to look perfect, but try to do something as close as possible. And if it does end up looking a little bit wonky, that is okay, as long as you try your best. So I'm gonna draw a stem right here so I can see the placement. And ta-da, there is my maple leaf. So once you have your maple leaf in the middle, go ahead and draw one line on the left and then another line on the right. And once you have that outlined, go ahead and pick up your red crayon and just start coloring. And then just make sure to fill in that leaf as well, because that's also red. I'm gonna outline it first. And just like that, we have our Canadian flag. Finally, let's talk about how Mexico got their independence. So Mexico was actually under Spanish rule until the War of Independence began in 1810. This war began because the Spanish kept mistreating the people of Mexico. They were taking their farmland and they were stealing their possessions. This war lasted for over a decade and ended on August 24th, 1821, when Spain withdrew and officially recognized Mexico as their own country. However, Mexico's Independence Day is actually celebrated on September 16 in honor of a person called Father Castillo, who gave a very famous speech called the Cry of Dolores, which demanded the end of Spain's rule. And now that we know a little bit about Mexico, let's go ahead and create their flag. So in order to make the Mexico flag, let's take a look at how it looks like. So as you can see here, it is green, white, and red, and then it has a picture of a snake and an eagle. So we're going to try our very best to recreate something like this. So first I'm going to start by drawing one line on the left, like so, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right, and then I personally am not the best artist, so I printed out the little eagle and the snake, but you can feel free to go ahead and try and draw it yourself. So here is a closer look at how that looks like. So I am actually gonna take this cutout that I have and put it right here in the middle. All right, there we go. And then I will be using that same green color pencil and the red. And so while I do this, these colors right here actually do symbolize something. So the green actually stands for independence, the white stands for faith, and the red actually stands for the national heroes and those who sacrificed themselves to Mexico. And I kind of want to hide the pencil marks, so I'm just going to go over those lines and kind of darken it up. There you go. Just like that, we have the Mexican flag. All right, so you should be finished with coloring your different flags now. And what we're going to do next is we're going to create our banner. So I have grabbed a piece of string right here, and I am going to put this string through all 4 of the flags. And so what I have already done that you can also do to make it easier is you can grab a pencil and just poke a hole right through the top. And so I have already done this for the rest of them as well. If you have little clips like this part is not necessary, but if you do not have these, I highly recommend poking some holes at the top. And so I'm actually going to grab a piece of tape, which this is not necessary either. You do not need this, but this will help with putting the yarn through the holes. So I'll show you what I'm doing. So I grabbed a little piece of tape, and I am it kind of got stuck to my nail right there. So let me undo that. But I'm going to wrap it around like this. I'm going to just kind of twist it. And this is mainly just to help me stick the yarn through the holes, because sometimes the yarn gets stuck. So again, you don't need to do this, but I find it very helpful. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick that through, and then I'm going to do the same for the other flags. And so this method is really good if you do not have those little clips. And ta-da! Just like that, we have our flags on our banner. And just for some extra security, so the banner doesn't move too much, I'm going to grab those clips. And like I said, you do not have to do this. I'm going to grab a clip, and I am just going to clip the top. Just make sure to spread them out depending on how you want the placement. So I'm gonna move this over a little bit more so the other flags have a little bit more room. There we go. And same thing with this one actually. And then one more clip. And just like that, you should have a banner.
All right, so once you go ahead and finish putting your banner together, go ahead and hold it up, and ta-da! Just like that, you should have a super cool banner of countries that you can hang up. Now, you definitely don't have to limit yourself to just these 4. You can go ahead and do some extra research and add some more flags to this. All right, and now that we finished with this, let's go see what Marissa is up to.
Hey everyone, it's Marissa. All the flags you made look so good. Great job. Bianca taught you guys so much about the history of Independence Days all over the world. But now let's learn some more about how those countries celebrate their Independence Days. First up, we have the United States of America, who celebrates their Independence Day on the 4th of July. Americans celebrate their Independence Day by having fireworks shows and having parades. A lot of people also spend time with their families as well. Next up, we have India, who celebrates their independence on August 15th of each year. On this day, India's Prime Minister will visit the Red Fort Monument, which is where the royal family used to reside, where a flag-raising ceremony will be taking place. The Prime Minister also delivers a speech which can be watched on television. People can also be seen flying kites and wearing the colors of the Indian flag to celebrate. Next up, we have Canada, who celebrates their independence on July 1st. The United States and Canada celebrate their Independence Days in similar ways because Canadians also have fireworks shows, parades, and hang out with their families. They also sing their national anthem to celebrate, which is called O Canada. Lastly, we have Mexico, who celebrates their independence on September 16th. To celebrate, they have fireworks shows and fiestas or parties where they play music, dance, and eat lots of delicious food. They also display lots of decorations like flags and flowers. Though we only learned about a few countries today, there are still so many more who have their own Independence Day and celebrate it in their own unique way. What's one new cool way of celebrating that you learned about today? That was really interesting to learn about. To me, I found it really interesting how dance is a part of celebrating in Mexico. Thank you for joining us to learn today. We hope you come back and learn some more. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell button to know when we upload our next video, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!